doing another GameMaker tutorial. So in the past 3 or so videos, we made this kind of thing, in that we can move around just like this, and we've got a mouse pointer, or an arrow that comes out of the player to the mouse pointer like this, and it gets bigger the further away it is, and you know, it's kind of pretty simple, I'd say. But what we're going to be doing in this video is the actual cursor that we see on screen. We're going to be making that change a little bit, just in the work of cursors and stuff. It's probably very quick, but we're just going to see how it goes and stuff. So we're going to be using this as our cursor. It's called sprite cursor. The dimensions and stuff, they don't really matter. As long as it's in the center, we should be fine. We're also going to make a... Actually, we're not going to make a new object. Change my mind. We're going to make a... Can we add another create event? I don't know if we can do this in the new version. Don't think we can. No. Anyway, we're just having one create event then, I guess. We're going to set the cursors up. So there's only 2 lines of code actually which sets the cursors up, but we're going to go through a few things you can do and different options. So the first one is window set cursor, and I can never remember what they're called. Something like something blank or CR none, that's the one. So CR obviously standing for cursor. So the first one, we're going to set it to none. We can give this a go. Ooh, there. If we run it, we should now not have a cursor at all, which does not look right at all. And that's not good at all. You should really never do that. Unless, and I'll probably go into this a bit later, unless you're locking it in place and you're using like a 3D game, or you're using a windowed game but using arrow keys. We might go into that in a little bit, but the other thing is cursor underscore sprite, and this is a built-in variable. It goes green. You don't often see many green ones. In fact, that's the first time I've seen a green thing in GameMaker 2. Obviously I've not used it that much, but anyway. So yeah, we're going to set the sprite equal to sprite cursor, which is also green as a coincidence. It's pretty simple, and that's the only real 2 lines of code that run everything. And now if we run this now, we should see our little green dot. I mean, it obviously it's not the prettiest looking thing, but it is our cursor, and you can see as we go off screen and whatnot, it goes off like that. Now, there is more options than this with just cursors. So, I mean, I would show you, but a while back I made a 3D game in GameMaker. It took a long time and stuff. But obviously for that, you want the cursor to be in the middle, because you're looking around and stuff, and that's controlled by your cursor. You don't want your cursor coming off out of the window. So what you can do with this is you can set the mouse coordinates. I'm not entirely sure whether you can set it and Windows. I think we can actually. I'm not sure whether they got rid of it or not. Yeah, okay. So we're going to set it equal to our player. Obviously for this game, that we've made, it's not really a game, but this example that we've made, this wouldn't work purely because, well, first of all, we've completely messed it up, but yeah, this would also have to be in the step event even. So let's put that there. But yeah, I'll show you just quickly why this wouldn't work in this kind of game, because in this game we've got this cursor, and yeah, the cursor is not going to be working because we don't have a cursor. Now of course there is some problems with this built-in function, in that obviously it only runs every step. Now there is no real way of getting around this that I could find. Obviously not having big arrows is a really big way of getting around it, and not visibly showing that the cursor's moving, because obviously up until you get this really, really big arrow, you can't see it, at which point you can start to see it off the left. But yeah, without having that cursor is pretty simple. Now, imagine we're in a 3D game like this, and this is something I see kind of rarely, but it does happen every so often, and it isn't great, in that we've locked the cursor in. That's fine. Only problem is we can't now exit the game without having to like Control Alt delete, or even just Alt F4 it. That's the only way of getting out of it. There is a built-in function thing which is Alt Tab, I think, and well, was it Alt Tab? No, Alt Tab's, I think it's when you build it, when you actually compile it and everything. But yeah, the only way of doing it is closing it down like that, which isn't very good. Now, of course, there is ways of getting around this, in that you can say, we're making a variable, call it escape. If keyboard check. Now, can we remember what it is? I want to say VK escape. That's right. So yeah, this is how you would go about making it if you did want to lock it in place. So with this system, all we've done is made an escape variable here, and we've made a little if statement checking whether they've pressed escape. Then what we're going to do is add a switch escape. You don't often see switches, but they do exist and they are useful to use. So case true. So if we are currently in our escape mode, then we're going to lock it in. In the other case, which is false, we are not going to lock it in. So really we're not going to do anything. We'll just put that there. We don't obviously need that, it's just to say that we're not doing anything. So now if we run it, we'll see we're not locked in. We're never locked in fact, which isn't good. Hang on, keyboard check escape. Oh, what am I doing? This has to be outside of the thing. So this needs to be below it or above it, doesn't really matter. But the keyboard check VK escape is meant to switch the escape thing. So another switch like this, but in this case what we're doing is we're going to tab these both along. Is if it's true, we're going to set escape equals false, otherwise escape equals true. And also I always forget this, but we need to put break in. Also I think it's important to note that the semicolons indicate that we've technically started a new line. So I think if we get rid of the semicolons, I don't know if it likes it or not. Okay, I think it does in this version. I don't know, some things can be funny like that, and they need a semicolon to signify a new line. But yeah, we'll just leave it like that. Now if we run that, I'll talk through it in a minute, what happens. If we run it, there we go. So we actually start off locked in, not locked in. So now we're locked in. You can see, like, if I knock my mouse to the right, you see it instantly pings back. But then if we press escape, there we go, we're free, we're locked. It seems to be a little bit dodgy, but it does actually work. It's just not constantly working. I'm not sure whether that's just the keyboard and stuff. But yeah, what this should do is if we actually maybe it's check pressed. So if we press the escape button, we switch the escape variable. So if it's true, it goes to false. If it's false, it goes to true. It's pretty simple. Then here what we're saying is, why have we done this actually? This completely changes. If escape, so if it is true, then we're just going to lock in, which is that. We're going to get rid of the break. Otherwise we're not doing anything. Okay, pretty simple. And if we run it, so we should now start, because I switched it around, so we're starting off locked in, now we're unlocked, now we're locked in, now we're unlocked, locked in, unlocked. Okay, so there you can see how easy it is to not only have locking and unlocking, but making new sprites, new cursors, and all the different things you can do with cursors, because it doesn't actually, I don't think GameMaker openly tells you that you can mess around with the cursors. It's actually quite hidden, especially with a window set thing. You don't normally go into that stuff in too much depth. But anyway, that's just a short little video explaining what you can do with the mouse cursor. If you like the video, remember to like, subscribe, what else do you guys want to do, and I'll talk to you in the next one.